You see where I'm going with that. Whereas Bitcoin is a virginal birth, it's an immaculate conception, unknown origin. I say it's God hacking his way back into humanity to try to fix our money that we up. He sent his son, 2,000 years ago, we killed him. So now he's like, that didn't work. I'm going to send Bitcoin to straighten these humans out, because he still has an affection for humans. He hasn't abandoned humans yet. But if we up Bitcoin, God will say, you know what, you, and I'm not going to forgive you for that whole thing you did to my son. And you know what, let AI rule your world, and now you're in hell forever, you. So Bitcoin is the only way to reconnect with God, the only way to reconnect the righteous path, the only way to take our species out of the hellhole.
Bitcoin's role as a revolutionary financial technology continues to fuel speculation about its future, with many projecting significant price growth by 2025. More than just a decentralized currency, Bitcoin represents a shift in how value, trust, and financial sovereignty are understood. This transformative potential is driving bold predictions for its price, with some analysts expecting it to disrupt traditional financial systems and solidify its status as digital gold. Renowned Bitcoin advocate Max Keiser takes a unique approach to these predictions. He sees Bitcoin not merely as an asset, but as a divine intervention, a tool designed to restore justice to a broken financial system. With its fixed supply of 21 million coins and incorruptible blockchain, Keiser argues that Bitcoin's scarcity and fairness could propel its value to new heights. He has famously predicted that Bitcoin could reach $1 million, driven by increased adoption, institutional investments, and diminishing trust in fiat currencies. Bitcoin's appeal lies in its resilience and independence from centralized control, qualities that make it a safe haven in times of economic uncertainty. With inflation fears and growing concerns about the stability of traditional assets, many believe Bitcoin will attract even greater interest, pushing its price higher. Whether it reaches $100,000, $1 million, or somewhere in between, Bitcoin's 2025 price projections highlight its potential to reshape the financial system and redefine the global economy. Let's watch clips from Max Keiser's explosive interview to gain more insight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications for additional in-depth content. Thanks for joining us again. Enjoy the video.
There's this idea that, artificial intelligence and Bitcoin, they're both competing for energy. They both need energy. These are two growth industries. But in my opinion, artificial intelligence is competing with Bitcoin. I don't see them as being simpatico, as part of the same tech growth era. I see that artificial intelligence is actually kind of in league with the devil in a lot of ways. And Bitcoin is working for God. Wow. So this is good versus evil. It's the way I see it. I don't think anyone else has that particular opinion. As a matter of fact, most people tell me to shut the up when I express. Our AI, it doesn't make people smarter. It just allows them to make stupid choices faster. Is it really creating intelligence from a pool of information and knowledge that's totally corrupt to begin with? It's like there's a poison well, and you're going to take a cup of water from that poison well, and you're going to wave your hand over it and say, oh, this is now potable water, this is great water, and you're going to drink it. No, it's still poison water. It came from a poison well. All the AI output is coming from poisoned information sources. And they call this an hallucination. I was at corporate headquarters of a big AI firm, and I'm like, well, isn't it a problem that the output is going to be determined by the input, and the input is shit? They're like, well, we call that an hallucination. And I was like, okay, so how do you deal with the hallucination? And of course the answer is, well, we add more AI. Wait, I think I see a Ponzi scheme when I see one. I think I see one here. You see where I'm going with that. Whereas Bitcoin is a virginal birth, it's an immaculate conception, unknown origin. I say it's God hacking his way back into humanity to try to fix our money that we up. He sent his son, 2,000 years ago, we killed him. So now he's like, that didn't work. I'm going to send Bitcoin to straighten these humans out, because he still has an affection for humans. He hasn't abandoned humans yet. But if we f up Bitcoin, God will say, you know what, f you, and I'm not going to forgive you for that whole thing you did to my son. And you know what? Let AI rule your world, and now you're in hell forever. F you. So Bitcoin is the only way to reconnect with God, the only way to reconnect the righteous path, the only way to take our species out of the hellhole that is the information overload that began in the 70s with the introduction of home computing and mass information processing, which goes back to the Industrial Revolution, which there's some pluses and minuses you can associate with that.
Bitcoin as God. Do you see Bitcoin as then a mechanism that reorients the world, society, people back towards holiness, godliness?
Yeah, it's the North Star. It's the blocks, the block height is the ladder to heaven.
Okay.
It's the ladder to God. So whatever height, the block height now, I haven't checked recently, but I think we're at 800 or 900,000 or something like that. So at some point, you cross over to the Bitcoin singularity, where we as Bitcoin hodlers merge with the cosmic truth about who we are in this universe, the multiverse. And it's that moment that fulfills us, and our search for answers and truth ends. We find it at the end. It's called the Bitcoin singularity. And we become one global consciousness, if you will. And the war ends, violence ends. Remember, Bitcoin demonetizes war and violence because it's unconfiscatable. So the idea of violently trying to seize somebody's assets is mute, because you can't seize anyone's assets because Bitcoin is unconfiscatable. That's why the liberals and the Democrats in the United States, who are warmongers, clearly hate Bitcoin, because they sense that it demonetizes war and violence. And this is what they've been going to, lunch. This has been their source of profits for years and years. So they're very against anything like that, that would take away the free money that allows them to go in to start these wars of convenience. And so that's kind of the direction. So it is heading toward a reunion with God.
What do you see the future for then Bitcoin in the U.S. being?
Well, they're going to try to bring in a sovereign reserve fund of Bitcoin, a Bitcoin sovereign reserve, and it's going to be a challenge. Yeah. The U.S. thinks that they're going to refinance their entire debt load by switching from dollars to Bitcoin, essentially. It's this typical mindset of a Wall Street guy who's like, you know what, and the proof of stake and the whole history of the bond rally that's been going on for 42 years, where, we're just going to refinance at a lower coupon rate and extend the maturity, extend and pretend. So they're like, you know what, we got like 60 trillion in debt. We're just going to extend the maturity. We're going to lower the coupon rate, and we're going to back it with Bitcoin. And I'm like, not when other countries are going right to Bitcoin, and they don't have to support the dollar. Russia doesn't have to support the dollar. All the BRICS countries are happy to get out of the dollar. Who really wants the dollar? Nobody. It's really on its. So the only way you can do this is if you default on your dollar. You default on your U.S. Treasuries and say, you know what, we can't give you 100 cents on the dollar for a U.S. Treasury anymore. We can give you 30 cents on the dollar, and that's all we can do. And that's the best we can do. And you'd have to go through a massive depression.
Max Keiser portrays Bitcoin as a divine force guiding humanity toward redemption, contrasting it with AI, which he views as a tool for chaos and manipulation. He highlights Bitcoin's incorruptible nature, likening it to an immaculate conception that can demonetize war and restore societal balance. Keiser warns of the flawed foundation of AI and its perpetuation of misinformation, while advocating for Bitcoin as a transformative, unseizable financial system, capable of disrupting outdated practices and securing humanity's moral and economic future. Max Keiser delves into Bitcoin's role as a transformative force in humanity's quest for truth, spirituality, and financial integrity. He contrasts Bitcoin's unique, immutable origins with the historical evolution of money, describing it as perfect money, enabling humanity to transcend time and space. For Keiser, Bitcoin isn't just a currency, it's a metaphysical bridge between past, present, and future. Its decentralized nature and incorruptible ledger represent humanity's collective spiritual awakening, culminating in what he calls the Bitcoin singularity, a universal consciousness uniting us in truth, beauty, and purpose. Let's watch more clips from the interview.
Yeah, and I would say in the last 24 months, there was still, up until maybe 24 months ago, this idea that somehow you could create other coins that would be competitive for Bitcoin. I mean, that idea existed for many years. But starting, I would say 24 months ago, was this growing realization that, in fact, Bitcoin, you can't create irreproducibility twice, right? It is like that virginal birth. And the day it happened, and the coordinates and the stack of tech and everything hit perfectly to create what was needed by our species up until that moment, and that is perfect money, where I can travel through time and space. And this is what humans, since our beginning, have had this innate, insatiable need to travel through time and space. That's what makes us human. And money is the means by which we do it. From the seashells to pretty rocks to gold, money is the technology that allows us to travel because we're curious. You know, we're the apes that got high on drugs and evolved accordingly and became insatiably curious to travel. And you need to do that, to facilitate that, you need a technology called money. So you can go anywhere in the world. If you had a shiny rock and you went to a village, 100,000 years ago, and because the humans have a shared aesthetic, you would see that as a shiny, pretty rock, just as I would. That's shared by all humans. So when they say beauty is only skin deep, is actually false. Beauty is a universal constant. Beauty is a universal architectural feature of the human consciousness and mind. And we all share a common aesthetic. And that's how you get money, is you say, this pretty stone, I can go anywhere in my radius that I can walk to, right, 100,000 years ago, and I can use this to get lodging, to get a food or something, right? You can exchange it, and that's good over time as well. And that's been the story of humans since the beginning, and now we have perfect money. Now we're on God's doorstep. Now we're at the block height. Now we're about to go into the Bitcoin singularity. Now we're about to all join into one cosmic union, what I call the Bitcoin orgasm.
Where's
consciousness, where it's just one, we all come essentially at the same time into this common birthing of who we really are post this meat skeleton that we all labor with all day long. I say Bitcoin is God, and people will say, oh, that sounds like a contentious thing to say. But, I hope that our discussion will flesh out what I mean by this. I'm not denying the existence of God. I'm not denying the existence of the Christian God or of Jesus or the Bible. I'm saying that this is the second coming. This is what you've been waiting for. This is Jesus kind of exploding in the universal consciousness in everybody at the same time. That's the Bitcoin singularity. Everyone has that light come in simultaneously, universally. So this is really what you want. This is what you've been talking about, but you've been using metaphors, allegory, and ritual. But I'm saying this is the raw, unfiltered truth. This is the truth. And we know that every 10 minutes, everything that's happened for the previous 10 minutes gets put into a block and can never be changed. That's the truth. And we know that the difficulty adjustment, we never know where it's going 10 minutes from now or 2 weeks from now. And that's the mystery. So we're locked between the absolute truth of the past, the mystery of the future, in the now. And this now is the ever-expanding, infinite now of Bitcoin, that once you start to think about it, you become somebody greater than you could ever imagine you could be, in that you are now part of something cosmically wonderful. Same thing with AA. It's totally decentralized.
Yeah.
There's no central leader. There's no obligation to stay or leave. It's not a cult. A cult has a charismatic leader, and it's easy to get in, but hard to get out. But Bitcoin, there is no leader, or AA, there is no leader. It's easy to join. It's also easy to leave. You can just walk out at any time.
So then is Bitcoin, so people then compare Bitcoin to a cult. Is it, and you're saying it's not a cult?
It's not a cult.
Is it a religion? Is there a religious component to it?
I would say that it shares common themes with religion and spirituality and art and beauty, in that we are intrinsically and inherently curious about finding our true selves in the realm of absolute beauty, which waits for all of us and is there on the Bitcoin vector. Some achieve it, and you can tell that they have achieved it. And it's also, once you do achieve it, it's not like a permanent state. You can lose it also. There's a lot of vicissitudes to spiritual awakening. But with Bitcoin, it's a permanent transition for humanity into a spiritual awareness.
Wow.
Because it's perfect money and it's that Bitcoin singularity. So you cross over. And so essentially it's monetizing our collective unconscious until Bitcoin. So Bitcoin fixes everything. Now that's why it's such a big thing, because it fixes everything by fixing money, and money is at the root of who we are as humans, to travel through time and space with our shiny pebbles, to make contact with other humans, to form societies, and to have our consciousness expanded so that we may enjoy a spiritual path. Because our spiritual path is only capable through groups. You don't have a single spiritual path. You don't sit alone in your home and you have to actually commune and take advantage of the networking effect of like-minded spiritual beings, right?
Yeah.
And then the collective consciousness of that spiritual quest is palpable. It gets you further along that path.
Bitcoin's ascent past $100,000 signifies a turning point, not just in financial markets, but in the broader narrative of decentralized monetary systems. With dwindling miner activity and a tightening supply, Bitcoin's value reflects its growing role as a hedge against inflation and a symbol of economic sovereignty. This resurgence aligns with broader macroeconomic trends and geopolitical shifts, notably Donald Trump's election, fueling optimism for institutional and retail investors alike. The market's trajectory suggests significant gains, but necessitates caution against overexuberance. Max Keiser's vision resonates here, portraying Bitcoin as more than a financial asset. It's humanity's bridge to higher consciousness and truth. For Keiser, Bitcoin's decentralized, immutable nature represents perfect money, a divine correction to the flaws of fiat systems. The crypto market's current bull cycle underscores this belief, with institutional adoption and favorable policies bolstering its case. Miners holding their BTC post-halving align with his argument for Bitcoin's scarcity and incorruptibility. This transformative phase isn't without challenges. As MicroStrategy continues its aggressive acquisitions, amassing over 447,470 Bitcoin, it exemplifies Keiser's belief in Bitcoin as a new form of reserve asset. The narrative of Bitcoin as perfect money, and its association with a spiritual awakening, as Keiser describes, finds validation in its sustained adoption and influence on global financial systems. As the market nears its zenith, Bitcoin's role as both a technological marvel and a philosophical shift remains undeniable, bridging financial practicality with cosmic ideals. As we wrap up, what do you think about the prediction that Bitcoin could unite humanity in a shared purpose? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Share this video and hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.